What's up, guys? So I'm finally back flying after 4 days of being down. I've had all kind of technical issues, problems with my quads. Seemed like everything I tried to fix, I would just tear up something else, trying to take one thing out of one drone, put in another. I was starting to think somebody had cursed me or something, because I'm better than that. And hell, everything I touched, I tore up. And a lot of my stuff was just going bad to start with. Hell, everything I got's like 7-year-old. But I wanted to talk to you about hitting gaps and stuff like that. Your camera angle makes so much difference in hitting gaps, and you just don't realize it if you've never tried different camera angles. And I know a lot of you people run digital, and you don't have much choice on your camera lenses. But for the people that still run analog like me, there's a lot of choices. And for me, 2.1 millimeter lens is the perfect size. And I fly analog, so I like to run these little tiny cameras. This right here. These are little CCD cameras. It's called a Runcam Micro Swift version 2. They don't even make these cameras anymore. There's only one store that still has them. And anyway, I got one of these in both my drones that I fly. And this needs to be said, Birdman Mike sent me one of these the other day, brand new, and luckily he did, because the one I was using in one of my quads started glitching out and going bad, and I had to replace it, so I've done used it. And these cameras are pretty cheap though, but the CCD part of it just gives me a better image flying analog. And but the lens makes a big difference, and like I say, for me, 2.1 millimeter lens is the perfect size. It gives me enough wideness, field of view, and up and down that I can fly good, but yet keeps things close enough to me that I can hit gaps good. If I move to like a 1.8 lens, hell, it's like looking through a GoPro, like watching a GoPro video on TV. That's how wide everything looks and how much room you got up and down. It makes it easy to land and stuff like that, but as far as trying to hit gaps between trees or going under objects or something like that, everything's so far away from me, you can't get lined up. You think you're lined up, but then when you do realize, hell, I'm right up on it before you know it, and then you're off and you miss it. With a 2.1 millimeter lens or a like a 2.8 or a 2.5, that's even closer. But when you start getting up to like a 2.8 lens, things are too close. You're so close up that it's like having blinders on, where all you can see is what's directly in front of you. You can't see on the sides, you can't see up and down, and that makes it hard to fly. So you got to find your happy medium, and for most people it's around 2.1 millimeter on the lens. And I guess you guys have noticed me hitting gaps, especially like with these trees up here, has gotten a lot better, because I was flying with a 1.8 millimeter lens, and everything was so far away I just could not get lined up with my gaps. But now that I've moved to the 2.1 millimeter on these cameras, it's just so much better. Also, I've for many years now, I've flown with mostly 200 milliwatt VTXs, and it gets me by most of the year. But once things get real green like it is now and everything gets leafed out, 200 milliwatt just don't cut it. All you can pretty much fly is right out in the open field. I have to have a perfect line of sight with my drone, or else the video starts cutting out. You can't, as soon as you go behind a tree that's got a lot of leaves on it, you just lose all video. And recently I've moved, some people gave me some big VTXs. Somebody gave me a 1600 milliwatt, and somebody gave me a 2000 milliwatt. Both of them were AKK VTXs, and I gotta tell you, I love them VTXs. Now the 1600 milliwatt, I had all kind of problems with lines and stuff like that, and I actually tore that video transmitter up, that VTX up by accident, trying to fix it. But I put the 2000 milliwatt in one of my quads, and I get great video signal with it. And I only run it on 1,000 milliwatts, and I can fly anywhere around this property I want. And I love it. The AKKs are where it's at. They're cheap and they got damn good video reception. But it makes all the difference in the world going up in higher power. And I like around 1 watt or 1,000 milliwatts. That is the best for when it's like this. Now once it's winter time and early in the spring and when things ain't leafed out yet, 200 milliwatt does just fine, or 400 milliwatt, but I just don't cut it anymore when it's real green like this. Alright, this is me cutting into this video from the future. I forgot to put something in here. I wanted to talk about rates too. Man, rates have made a huge difference in my flying. I've always run Betaflight rates, but you have a like a normal rate, then an RC rate, then Expo in Betaflight rates. I would run around like a 0.70 on the rate and like a 0.78 on the RC rate, and then I would run like a 0.30 on the Expo. But now here lately, I tried this rates that I found online on this guy that was flying really good. He had real smooth movements, but yet he had the real sharp moves when he needed them. And so he showed his rates, and so I tried them. And man, it varies from quad to quad and from flight controller to flight controller, but I pretty much realized that you don't got to change much. So this is what you run, or this is what I've been running here lately. On your regular rate in Betaflight, you run like 2.20. Okay, now on your RC rate, you run 0, nothing. On the Expo, you run 0.70. Okay, and you do that on the roll and pitch. On the yaw, you run 2.11 on the regular rate. You run a 0.19 on the RC rate and a 0.70 on the Expo. Alright, now the only thing you need to change from quad to quad, some quads is different, some flight controllers are different, so it'll have a different feel when you change sometimes. But pretty much all you have to, because like one quad I get on with those rates and it might feel a little slower than the next quad I fly that feels a little faster with the same rates. So pretty much all you got to do is change the very first number where it says 2.20. If it feels a little slow to you, move it up to 2.22. It don't take much, boy. Or if it feels a little too fast, bump it back down to like 2.19 or 2.18. But 2.20 right in there is, man, it'll say like 1,015 degrees out here when you're done. But with all that Expo, it's not really near that fast, only at the very tip of the thing. It's amazing, guys, flying those rates. I highly recommend everybody try them. And I just watched a Joshua Bardwell video about him flying 8S on a freestyle rig, and him and Chris Rosser and all was talking about how you can go up in KV. I mean, go lower with KV motors because there's more wire in it or something, and you get higher. You can go with more RPMs that way with a bigger battery, and it all makes sense. And I've known that for a long time. But I gotta say, I've always flown 4S. I've tried bigger batteries, and I don't like it. The more RPMs you turn with the bigger batteries, the less throttle control you have. With a 6S battery, you have less throttle control than you do with a 4S. And I'm sure when you go to 8S, you're going to have even less. Hell, he said he was cruising around there, going pretty damn fast, and he wasn't using but 20% of the throttle. Can you imagine trying to do really good tight moves or close to the ground moves? It is the higher, the more speed you build and more power you make, the harder it is to keep that quad down. I'm sure a lot of you guys understand what I'm talking about. When you take a quad and you punch it and try to go straight low to the ground, you can't hardly do it if you've got a real powerful quad. It wants to climb. You can't keep it down. And so a 4S is perfect. even 5S does good. But two, you guys know I run 3D. So when you run 3D, you only have half the throttle anyway, because half the throttle is going up, the other half the throttle is going down. So I only have half the throttle resolution to start with. So if I move to a bigger battery, I'm even going to lose even more. So I have to stay with 4S batteries. And two, he got one thing really right in that video. The more voltage you put through an ESC, the easier it is to pop one. You guys see me crash out here constantly, all the time. Now, if I was the old technology where ESCs used to only be rated to 4S, you'd pop them all the time because you was getting close to their rated voltage. But now, see, I fly with 6S ESCs, but I'm only running 4S on them, and I crash the shit out of them all the time, and you hardly ever break one because you're running lower voltage than it can take. So you start running higher voltage, you're gonna start breaking shit a lot easier. But like I said, here lately everything's been tearing up. All my shit's old. My Lipos was going bad, and my VTXs was going bad, and my cameras was going bad, and hell, even my goggles quit on me the other day. Luckily I found I had a broke wire, and I was able to fix it. But while I was trying to fix it, even my meter quit on me. That's when I started saying, hell, something's wrong, somebody's cursed me. Everything I touched just seemed to quit. So, but I worked tirelessly and didn't give up over the last 4 days, and I finally got most everything going. I still got one problem. I'm not going to mention it just yet. We're going to see how things works out. But I do still have one problem. And like I say, we're just not going to talk about that just yet. We'll see how things go, see what these people do. If they do right, I'll do right. If they don't do right, I'm going to rain hell on them. So, anyway, my brother Bo from Mountaineer FPV, he's helped me out tremendously over the last few days. Me and him's been doing a lot of emailing and talking. And he's fixed to send me a bunch of parts to work on. But he's helped me out tremendously over the past 4 days, and I couldn't thank him enough. I tell you, you make a lot of friends in this hobby. Some fall away, some stay with you. Some want to be the kind of friends that help, some just want to be the kind of friends that talk to you. Bo's one of them kind of friends that he does it all. He helps, he talks, he understands. And so, brother, I appreciate all your help, and I'll be letting everybody know just all what you have done for me when the time is right. And guys, if you are not subscribed to Bo over at Mountaineer FPV, I'll put a link to his channel down below. Please go subscribe to him. He's been doing awesome, man. He hadn't been flying for that long. He has come a long way. He's built a bunch of quads just recently. His flying is improving every single day. I mean, it's amazing. I flew for like 3 years before I was as good as he is now. And he ain't been flying but for a few months. It just blows my mind. I mean, so he's really dedicated. And he's even gone as far as buying him a 3D printer and learning that stuff just right off the bat. I mean, you know, hell, I've been flying for 7 years, and I've just recently got me a printer and learned it. He's going all in on it. So, and he don't have all that many subscribers, and he's a really friendly, good guy. So I beg you guys, please go subscribe to him. And guys, listen, if you come and watch my video, hit the damn like button. You see that little like button right down there? Hit that motherfucker for me, please. Please. Because I've got a lot of subscribers that are subscribed to me, but they don't have the notification bell hit. So YouTube, the way YouTube works is, if you hit that little like button, whether you leave a comment or not, if you leave a comment, that's great. I love it. I can comment back to you. But if you're going to come watch the video anyway, it don't take but a second to hit the little like button. Hit that little like button, and then if I get enough likes, then YouTube will automatically start recommending it out to my other subscribers that don't have a little notification hit. And then I'll get more views on it and maybe some more likes. But it's got to start with a few of you somewhere hitting the likes. I mean, I see a lot of you come leave a comment and the video's only got 3 views on it in the first hour, and I've got 2 comments, I got no likes. So come on guys, you can do better than that. I hit that little like bell on, or that little like button on every video I watch. It's just the first thing I do. I don't even usually watch the video first. I go to the video, as soon as it starts playing I pause it, scroll down, hit the little like button, scroll back up, start watching. That's the way you do it. I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but on my last video I was out here flying this morning and and I was sitting right here, or not right here, but just right there. I mean 2 foot from where I am now, under this tree. I was flying and I was coming across the top of over the top of my house, and I got them big old box goggles on and I got my controller right here in my lap. I can't see other than what I'm doing when I'm flying. My big old cat come running. I don't know what done it, but she come running and jumped right straddle of my lap, right on top of my controller, and her paw. I got that big old long switch on my XM, my QX7 that sticks out here on the corner, and that's my disarm switch. And when she jumped up on here, for one, it scared the shit out of me, and for two, her paw hit that big old switch and knocked it down, because that's the way I got it. You flip it down and it disarms. It disarmed and my quad went spiraling straight down and hit my shed over here and bounced off of that and hit the ground. My quad survived. My cat almost didn't. I've got a beautiful place to fly here, guys. Beautiful place. But you have no idea how easy it is to lose your drone out here. I have to have lost model alarms. The kind that when your battery comes unplugged, it will beep anyway for a long time and flash a little light. So if you can't find it even after it gets dark, then that'll help you find it, because it's got a real bright flashing LED. Now, if I didn't have that, I've already lost like 4 quads on this property somewhere, and I've never been able to find them. They're out here somewhere, but that was a long time ago. Once they invented that lost model alarm, I got those and started installing them in all my quads, and I've never lost a quad since. But those things do go bad. They only last about a year and a half if you use them a lot. But they're pretty cheap. I mean, they're like $14 and you can replace them. And they have their own little battery that goes in them. So, I highly suggest if you guys don't already have one in your quad, it's just a tiny little battery with a little buzzer mounted on top with a little LED light and a little board. And it ain't big as the tip of your thumb. And you can mount them in your quad easy. But when it grows up like this, a few years ago they done a lot of logging around here. Well, now it's so growed up in the summertime with briars, blackberry bushes. You can't even, I mean, it takes a machete to hack through that shit, and I have to put on my military boots, I have to put on my military breeches, and a heavy ass thick coat, and a boggin over my head, so the briars and stuff, so I can just force my way through the shit. And I mean, when it's hot out here, after I get back from retrieving my drone from way out yonder in the briars or something, hell, I mean, I've done lost 10 pounds of sweat because I got all that military equipment on. But I tell you guys, it is so easy to crash out there and the battery come unplugged, and you've lost it. You've lost it for good. I don't care. You won't even find it come wintertime when everything dies down, without one of those lost model alarms. But I've got a beautiful place here, and I've got some really good lines and flowy lines here on this property, but I really need to get out here and figure me out a few new places to fly. I mean, I should be able to get my chainsaw out here, or do something, or cut me some cane poles down and lay them across something to make more gaps, or do something. I should be able to figure out a way to make some more moves around here. And I may, eventually. But hell, I'm still learning too, guys. I got a long way to go. I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at with my flying skills, but not happy enough that I want to quit trying to get better. I always want to get better, And to get better, you just have to fly a hell of a lot of packs. That's how it works. Because usually the way it works is you fly a lot of packs, and one day you'll be watching your video back and you'll say, oh, I don't know how I did that. And before long, you're just doing it. You just automatically find new moves and you don't even realize you're starting to do them. You just start doing them. That's the way it works with me anyway. Every once in a while I'll come out here and say, okay, I want to try to do this, and I can learn it that way. But to me, it seems like just the more I fly, and two, your camera angle. I need to mention that, your camera angle, whether you've got your camera pointed up high or flat or just a little bit, makes a huge difference in how you can fly. I can fly no matter what. I can fly with my camera flat, this much or that much. But when you've got it that much, you pretty much you're at full throttle, just staying, you know, without hitting the ground. So it's really hard to do some good moves with that. And when you got it flat, you can do some real crazy ass moves. And it looks weird on your GoPro because your GoPro's up like this, but yet your camera's flat, so you can do a lot of reverse type moves. And here lately I've been doing a lot of that. But I'm still not running a flat camera angle. I'm running like 20, 22 degrees on my camera angle now. I've lowered it some. And ever since I've lowered it some, because I was running like 28, 29 degrees. But now that I went down to like 22 degrees, I can get this kind of reverse move sometimes. And that I'm trying to do some of them S-bang moves where you flip your quad up like that and then come back. And boy, I can just do like a backwards move in circles with them lower camera angles. Alright, I'm just rambling now, guys. I don't know what else to talk about. If you stayed this long in the video, I applaud you. Hopefully I'm done tearing shit up. And maybe I can finish out the summer in peace. Well, guys, I enjoyed talking with you. Hope you enjoyed listening, and have a great day, and please hit the like button, and we'll see you on the next video.